Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Abrahams, this morning. In my intro there, it looks like one sector has resolved. Which other sectors are outstanding? I mean, from my intro, it looks like you've got 18 wage disputes going on and affecting over 14,000 workers. That's a lot of workers.
Firstly, thank you, Dan, for having me. Yes, it is a lot of workers. There are outstanding ones. You must also keep in mind that these are also disputes at company-based. So many of our negotiations in our bigger sectors takes place at a sectoral level. To answer your question, we have the carpet sector still in dispute, our non-woven sector in dispute, our worsted sector in dispute, the general goods and handbags. And then we have the regional negotiations out in KZN in the laundry sector where we have members. And then there are about 12 plant-based bargains around the country where we're also in dispute. And you may not know, Dan, but just last Thursday, our last press release says that the clothing negotiations were still ongoing. Last Thursday, we formally declared a dispute in the clothing sector as well. And that affects about 60,000 workers. So we now, whilst we resolved one, we're still back at 18, and it affects about 80,000 workers countrywide.
Sorry, how many workers affected in the clothing sector?
Approximately about 60,000.
So now, my intro, we spoke about 14,000, so we are now sitting at above 70,000. So while you've resolved the home textile sector, there's several others, including this new dispute in the clothing sector. What's the dispute? We said wage disputes. Are there similar wage disputes across these sectors? Are they different?
Dan, the main similarity in all of these disputes is the union is completely understanding of the situation that we find ourselves in, but it seems as if the employers generally just wants to now roll back years and years of struggles of workers, and they now want to, the key issue is the reduction in workers' wages and reduction in the conditions of employment. Deferred wages, which they are due at the end of the year, that they don't want to pay. That's been the main issue with regards to the dispute.
So the sector, its employers want to cut members' wages. They want to take away their entitlements to bonuses. And do they want to change any other employment conditions?
In some instances, there has been. In some of the sectors, as an example, they want these proposals of reduction in the Provident Fund contributions of employers towards workers' Provident Fund. Now, we're talking about people who are of the lowest paid manufacturing workers in our country, and that little nest egg that they save up for the day that they retire, that they can retire in dignity and in comfort. There's now also proposals to impact on that.
Okay, now in updating this story for us this morning on ENCA, you've told us the clothing sector, now there's also a dispute. We are now dealing with more than 70,000 workers who are possibly affected. How confident are you, because you've resolved the home textiles, but you've got a number of others still to resolve. In addition, you've got the clothing sector one. How confident are you you'll find a solution?
Dan, as always, we're always open to dialogue. We're always open to discussions. So as an example, one of the first steps that we always take, even when we are in dispute, is that we get in an independent conciliator, which both parties agree to, and that conciliator then tries to find, common ground between us and the employers and try to get a resolution to the dispute. That's exactly what happened in the home textile sector. I think they've had about 2 or 3 different meetings trying to resolve the dispute, and eventually we got to a resolution of the dispute. So we're fairly confident that as long as employers play open cards with us, and as long as there's no use of the current pandemic and the current dire state that we are in to roll back workers' hard-earned gains over the last few years, we're confident that we can try to resolve this. You must always remember, Dan, that declaring a dispute or calling for a strike, if it should come to that, is not an easy decision for the union. It's one that we take with great responsibility, and always keeping in mind that our members and what the impact would be on the economy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people being affected there. Over 70,000 workers in this sector. That's the textile and clothing sector. We'll have to keep track of the developments. Thank you very much. That's Fahmi Abrahams from the Sactwu Trade Union.